Quite importantly, in what I'm about to say, it seems quite obvious what you had to do from our perspective to beat someone like Oleksandr Usyk.
So that's where I felt like, what was it? Go in there and be like, go in there and just bully them, man, yeah?
Bully him, use your size, your strength, your power, use those tactics.
But ain't that the things that were going against me as a heavyweight? That's all he's got, size. So I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to shark on. I'm a 12-round fighter. When I looked at the other fight a couple of weeks later, you saw that after 3 rounds, the energy was depleted. Do you know what I mean? And it's not really what I thought was the right way of boxing. So I started working on different elements of my boxing. Boxing the same as round 1, trying to box the same in round 12, trying to learn how to slip shots, roll shots a bit better, etc. So the obvious thing was to go out there and use a lot of my natural ability. But as I said, after a while in my career, I started thinking I wanted to scrap what I can naturally do and improve certain areas that I was weaker on. And
those are the words of Anthony AJ Joshua as he explains why he didn't go in and use his natural ability. And what I can grasp from it is you can hear him say that he wanted to learn what to do in rounds 1 versus rounds 12. Well, to counterpunch that, if it's a 12-round fight and it's went to 12 rounds, meaning, you know, and that's just not being prepared to go 12 rounds, that's you're in the 12th round, you have to fight like you want to win the 12th round because that is the last and final round, you know, and that's so you don't fight rounds 1 like rounds 12 unless you have every round in the book. You know, you want that type of fight unless you're going to fight like a Floyd Mayweather or something like that. But that wasn't the case. You were fighting a guy that was smaller, that could outbox you, that was known to be better than you boxing wise. So the last thing you want to do is to do that. But here's the deal. Is if you heard him say, hey, I was depleted by round 3, and that's one thing I want to talk to you guys about. That means that he's afraid, or should I say concerned, with using his energy to go balls to the wall. And I don't think that's the problem. I think that's a different type of problem. I think he now, if he's worried about gassing out by rounds 3, you know, you have to consider what type of stamina that he has. Does he have stamina issues? And the answer is yes, he has stamina issues. Okay, and I don't think I haven't seen the rest of this, but I will break these down, you know, but based on what I've heard from this here, he's worried about not using his natural ability because when he does go in there and bully the guy and throws those punches, those big shots, he's afraid of running out of gas. So I think he needs to work on his stamina and get a bigger gas tank. Okay, because you want to be able to not just box for rounds 1 to 12, but if you need be, bully this guy and make it a tough fight from rounds 1 to rounds 12. Counterpunch. Because that would be the mentality. Look, I want to be able to go Marcos Maidana Mayweather 1, right, for 12 rounds. Because that's the type of fight you're going to have to fight to beat someone like Usyk, because boxing that guy is not going to work. It is not going to work. And he's not going to, in 6 months, learn how to outbox Usyk. It's just not going to happen, you know, pick a reason. But there's the experience and everything else. He's just not better at boxing. But the whole idea of going in there and bullying Usyk is to knock him out. You're not trying to outbox him. You're trying to stop him. Because you don't outbox Usyk. You stop Usyk if you can. If you can be the first man to do that, nice. But that's the whole gist of it. You can outbox Andy Ruiz, but Andy Ruiz is far from an Oleksandr Usyk. Okay? So that's what I gathered from listening to this and listening to AJ explaining, well, the guy that I was known for versus the guy that I wanted to be, and for the record, he was supposed to had some type of problem or surgery or whatever to fix what was going on with him in June versus December of 2019, because we've seen him gas out before, and we did see him a lot smaller as well. I mean, he was probably the biggest he's ever been the night he lost. Okay, because he was probably like 253, 255 even. I don't know how, if he weighed again, but he was a big dude. And then I just seen like all this muscle mass, it just made him more tired. I mean, he had good reflexes and things, but it didn't really matter because he wasn't like a Deontay Wilder, flopping around, but he was tired. You can tell he was tired. Okay, and that was like the second or third red flag because he did get tired. So then that's the question you really honestly have to ask yourself, if there was something wrong with him that day, which I believe it was. But that's another factor to analyze as well. Him talking about going balls to wall and we're gassing out in 3 rounds. Oof. But it reminds me of what Tyson Fury said. Hey, it would take, if he went at Usyk like that, it would take him 2 rounds to recover. Okay, going hard that 1 round. Because this is a pacing game also. So you don't want to run out of gas. But again, the whole idea is to be able to brawl for that much. Rocky Balboa for that amount of times, for that amount of rounds. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this particular portion of this interview by Kugan Cassius to Anthony Joshua. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.